It is 6:45 now on Wavy News 10 today. We're continuing our coverage of Hurricane Irene, the storm getting stronger and closer to the United States.
We're joined now live by NBC's Kerry Sanders. He's in Emerald Isle, North Carolina. That's about 50 miles south of Ocracoke Island. Hey, Kerry, how are folks preparing?
Well, good morning, Don and Kerry. Folks are preparing by waking up this morning and doing what they can to watch on the computer, watch on the television, and look at the spaghetti strand of suggestions coming from the models from the National Hurricane Center to determine what they should do. But at the same time, the county officials are telling people, for instance, on Ocracoke, it's time to start leaving. You've got 2 days to get off. Let's start with the tourists first. So at 5 a.m. this morning, that first ferry came over with about a dozen cars, tourists making their way off the island. If everything goes as planned, that will be a smooth evacuation because it has started so early. It's really a concern up in areas like here where some people, especially residents, not so much tourists, have this sense that they can stay in a little bit longer until that last minute, and that's where the problems really begin. From history, the local emergency officials understand that as people wait and delay and then eventually at the last minute decide to leave, that is where the problems are created, especially on the local roadways. As things get clogged up, somebody has a flat tire, it backs things up. So they're really urging people to take this one seriously, monitor the radio throughout the day, pay attention to what's going on, and really listen to local officials. And of course, at the end of the day, get yourself prepared. I mean, putting a couple bottles of water in the freezer right now is a good idea because you'll be able to, when you eventually have to leave, take those bottles with you and not worry about getting ice because it'll be frozen, and if it's in your cooler, it'll slowly melt. So when and if you need some water, some nice cold water, you'll have it. Kerry?
It's a good tip there about the frozen water too. People need to think about their animals, and you're right, Kerry, there will always be those holdouts who want to stay, and people need to understand they will not be arrested if they don't evacuate, but they may be cut off from emergency services and without utilities for who knows how long.
Well, the thing to remember is, and I sadly have covered hurricanes now for 30 years, from as far south into Central America all the way up to Montauk Point off of Long Island. And what I have seen consistently when a major hurricane comes in is that those people who are the holdouts, the ones who say, I'm an old salt, I've been through this before, no big deal, when they run into trouble and they try to make a phone call to 911 in the middle of a hurricane saying, I made a mistake, I need help, there is no one to come help them. And so it's so much easier, even if it seems like a hassle, to get in your car, head to a shelter, head inland. Even if it's only about a 15-20 mile inland route, you're just that much further away from potential problems.
And Kerry, are we seeing any other impacts of the storm there? We can see the waves appearing to pick up, but how about the winds? How bad?
Actually, it's beautiful. It's just a lovely morning here. The sunrise gorgeous, and so it's way too early to see the impacts of Irene. But that's part of the problem. Just if you think about it, the forecasting has become so precise that folks really need to understand that when the National Hurricane Center tells the local emergency officials and everyone else about where they really think this storm is eventually going to go, you really need to pay attention. Everybody can hope with that model that it's going to head out further east, and we'll be watching it go by here. But if it looks like that one spaghetti strand, as it were, way out to the east is not going to really materialize, then don't risk it.
All right, well, there are certain signs that we look for when things are getting serious, and one of them is when Kerry Sanders comes to town. You mentioned your extensive experience covering hurricanes, so we appreciate you making time for us today, and we hope you and your crew also will be safe no matter what the coming days bring.